Morning. Last class we have done overheads. In the overhead chapter, what we learned? We did primary distribution. Like we classify this into production department and the service department. Then we did secondary distribution. What is secondary distribution? Service department costs are reallocated to production department. Then we get the total overheads for the production department. Then, like we have done 3 production department, 2 service department, like that, divided by number of hours, which may be machine hours or labor hours, like that. We take number of hours. This may be a machine hour or this may be a labor hour. Then we get overhead recovery rate. This we call it as overhead recovery rate. Like we get like $5 or $50 per hour. Using this, we work out the product cost. Using this, we work out which one? The product cost. So whenever a job is coming, we work out based on the rate, we charge the overheads to the customer. The overheads are otherwise called as traditional costing system. Okay, this is what we were doing in the last 2 classes. We have done primary distribution, secondary distribution. Then we got the total overheads for the production department. That divided by number of hours, we got overhead recovery rate. So whenever a job order is coming, we work out raw material cost, labor cost, overheads like department A. Like if it is 10 hours into $50, $500, like that we charge. So overheads are recovered based on number of hours for which the work is done. The hours may be machine hours or labor hours. We have seen in the last class. Okay, this traditional method has a limitation. This traditional method has a limitation where cost overheads are recovered based on time consumption. Overheads are recovered based on which one? Time consumption. More time you spend, more cost. Less time you spend, less cost, like that. Overheads are recovered. Now, let us assume a person is going to the ATM machine. A person is going to the ATM machine. Okay. So he will do all these things. Okay. Before we go to activity-based costing. Clear, insert the card, enter the PIN, choose the transaction. Transaction can be balance inquiry, deposit or withdrawal, like that. It can be anything. It can be fund transfer or it can be PIN change. It can be mini statement. In ATM, we do various things. Then we complete the steps. Suppose if it is going to be cash withdrawal, we withdraw the cash, collect the card, then enter the transaction. All these things will take, let's assume inserting the card, okay, let's assume it is about 30 seconds. Entering the PIN, another 30 seconds. Choose the transaction, another 30 seconds. Okay. Complete the steps, formalities, another 30 seconds. So then receive the cash, collect the cash, 1 minute. Collect the receipt, it will take another 30 seconds. Put in for the transaction, then collect the card. Okay. So all these things, if you look at, approximately takes around 5 minutes of time. Approximately takes about 5 minutes of time. Okay. Let it be balance inquiry or let it be, maybe balance inquiry may take 4 minutes of time. Cash withdrawal may take about 5 minutes of time. Cash deposit also. Okay, you have to insert, then complete the transaction, get the confirmation and close. It may take sometimes more time. Cash deposit will take more time. Okay, let's assume a person deposit. We worked out overhead recovery rate. ATM usage hours. Okay, ATM cost of ATM in a place came to let's assume $12,000 for a year. $12,000 for a year. ATM usage. Okay, this ATM was used for about 12,000 minutes. Like 200 hours. 12,000 minutes. Okay, so what is the rate per minute? $1. Okay, ATM cost means operating cost, not investment cost. Operating cost. What do you mean by operating cost? Okay, rent for the place, air conditioning, lighting expenses, okay, then security expenses, maintenance of the ATM, okay, maintenance of servers. There is a cash that is kept idle, opportunity cost of cash like that. ATM running cost, ATM operating cost. ATM operating cost came to 12,000. ATM is used for about 12,000 minutes, let us assume. So what is the rate per minute? $1. For example, a customer goes for a balance inquiry. According to traditional system, overheads are recovered based on time consumption. Okay, a customer goes for balance inquiry, spends 4 minutes, means 4 minutes into $1. You will be charging $4. Okay, a customer goes for, let's assume, a PIN change. Let's assume it took some time to get the OTP or to get the PIN change. It took some server lag, errors were there. It took 10 minutes. It took which one? 10 minutes into $1. It will be $10. It will be $10. A person goes for cash withdrawal. For example, he pressed the button like quick cash. Quick cash means just insert the card, put the PIN, quick cash, immediately cash will be delivered. He has taken 2 minutes of time. Okay, if you go by traditional method, you will be charging only $2. A person went for cash deposit. Money comes into the bank. Okay, he spent about 6 minutes. You will be spending one, or you will be charging $1 to the customer, which means $6 to the customer. Is it correct? Is it appropriate? Under the traditional costing system, okay, we have done primary distribution, secondary distribution, okay, total overheads divided by number of hours, we get the overhead recovery rate. It can be rate per hour or per minute. Okay, then overheads are charged from the customer based on what? Time consumption. That is the traditional costing system. Okay, so if a person is using ATM, whatever may be the purpose of using ATM, if you are going by time-based recovery of overheads, you will be charging the customer like this. Is it proper and logical to charge a customer like this? For example, a person going for PIN change, since because he has taken more time, you are charging more. And a person quickly withdrew cash, you are charging only $2. Okay, a PIN change consumes no resource. Just insert the card, change the PIN and come out, that's all. A person going for a cash deposit, the money comes into the bank. For him, you are charging $6. But a person going for cash withdrawal, you are charging only what? $2. Okay, so this traditional costing system is not a good system. It's not a good system. It may be okay for certain machines, it may be okay for certain operating machines, etc. But it is not always the best. It is not always the best for charging cost from the customer. So that is why we want to remove from this traditional costing system. We want to move on to the next costing system. That is called as activity-based costing. That is called as which one? Activity-based costing. Okay, I have no need to take up this example, but from this example you can understand charging the customer based on the time spent is not logical. You understand? Balance inquiry costs what? Nothing. You just insert the card, put the PIN, in the display it comes, what is your account balance, that's all. Okay, PIN change costs nothing. Just insert the card, change the PIN. It is not costing anything for the bank, But cash withdrawal costs something. Security is there for the machine because there is a cash inside. Or, for example, security, idle cash is kept. Customers will withdraw, idle cash is kept. So opportunity cost of keeping idle cash is high for the bank. And for a person who is depositing money, actually you should not charge anything because money comes into the bank. Money comes into the bank. Deposits, you should not charge anything. But you are charging $6. So it's like you are charging less for a person who is using more resources and high for a person who is using less resources, and you are charging something for the customer, or you are charging some good amount for the customer who is giving resources to us, who is depositing money with us. Okay, so the next method is activity-based costing. Next method is which one? Activity-based costing. According to activity-based costing, overheads, see, traditional method, let it be traditional costing system, overheads, or activity based costing, there is no difference in charging direct cost to the customer. For example, whenever a customer is coming with a job order, let you follow traditional method or ABC method, direct cost will be the same. Direct material, direct labor, direct expenses will be same. Only overheads are to be charged based on resources consumed, activity performed. Otherwise, resources consumed depends on activity performed. For example, for a person who's going for a balance inquiry, you should not charge anything because he's not consuming any resource except some usage of machine. Person going for a pin change is not consuming any resources. Person actually who is depositing the money also should not charge because money comes into the bank. Person who is going for cash withdrawal only, okay, there is a usage, there is a resource consumed, you are keeping idle cash. If the idle cash is lent, the bank will get some interest. That interest the bank is losing. So ideally, you should charge for which one? Cash withdrawal. For example, a person does a funds transfer. The fund transfer can be within the bank, between two banks, or it can be international fund transfer. For example, fund transfers will take approximately the same time. Let us assume within the bank you transfer from your account to another account, or between two banks or international fund transfers. Every transaction will take 5 minutes of time. Can you charge for everything at the same rate? 5 minutes into $1, $5. Within the bank, fund transfer costs nothing. One account is debited, another account is credited. Nothing. Just a journal entry, the system will pass. Between two banks, okay, from American Express Bank to Greenlace Bank, yes, there is a clearing process involved. You have to charge something for the customer. International fund transfer includes or involves conversion of foreign currency, brokerage, etc. and all. Okay, so that has to be charged at a higher rate. That is why overheads are to be recovered based on what activity you perform. Okay, don't charge anything for balance inquiry, pin change, or deposit or fund transfer within the bank because no resources consumed. Okay, between two banks, some resources are consumed, you charge something, and international fund transfers you charge more. So resources consumed depends on what? Activity performed. So overheads are to be recovered based on which one? Activity performed. That is what is called as activity based costing. Do you understand the difference? So what happens is you observe for installing the activity based costing, what you have to do is, okay, you have to find out activities. We call it as cost drivers. Cost drivers means activities that influences cost. Activities that influences cost. Okay, identify this. For example, let's assume you are running a Pizza Hut or Domino's Pizza. Okay, where you do door deliveries. So door deliveries depending on volume of sales, size of the showroom, turnover. It depends on number of orders that you receive. It depends on which one? Number of orders you receive. So simple activities, maybe I'll give you some example. Okay, for example, number of batches, inspection cost. Number of batches will determine which one? Inspection cost. For example, for every batch, we'll do inspection. Batch means a group of products. We manufacture about 100 articles, 1000 articles. Let us assume we are running a bakery. You will manufacture, one minute, sorry. Okay, so number of batches will decide, number of batches will decide which cost? Inspection cost. It will decide which one? Inspection cost. Same way, for example, you will find the changeover time. What do you mean by changeover cost? from one job, you remove the material, you do the another job. For example, let's assume in a factory, we are stitching t-shirts. We are stitching which one? T-shirts. One lot t-shirts is over. Next lot t-shirt is coming. Design, cutting, okay, tailoring, everything will be different. The plates, everything will be different. So that will depending upon number of jobs handled. Okay, changeover activity, changeover costs depends on what? Number of jobs handled. Number of jobs handled. Like that, activities determine cost. Activities determine what? Cost. So activity that influences cost, we call it as which one? Cost driver. Identify the first one. The cost driver can be product level, batch level, or maybe unit level activity. It may be like product level activity. It may be organizational activities. Okay. What do you mean by unit level activity? For every unit that will be performed. For every unit that activity will be there. For example, you are making a two-wheeler. You are making a two-wheeler. Maybe after purchasing a two-wheeler, you can find some stickers will be there. Tested, okay. Tested, okay. Inspected, okay. Employee code, everything will be there in a new vehicle, right? Which means every unit is tested. Every unit is tested. Maybe testing. In case of automobile industry, okay, they will test everything: shock absorber to engine to carburetor to electronic systems to lighting, starting, even everything they will test before delivery. That is called as what? Unit level activity. In certain cases, unit level activity cannot be done. Only for a batch they will do. Let us assume you are manufacturing cool drinks, soft drinks. Okay, like Pepsi or Coke you are manufacturing. If you put more ingredients, it will cause side effects. It will cause which one? Side effects. You are manufacturing tablets, like medicines. Okay, you are manufacturing. So you manufacture a batch. Randomly you pick certain items, test whether it is as per the standard, whether it is as per the standard. Because if you mix it wrongly, if you do a wrong mixing or if you do a wrong manufacturing, it will cause side effects to the customer. Every unit cannot be tested. In case of a pharmaceutical industry or a soft drink industry, or in case of a bakery, is it possible to taste every cake or everything and sell it? No. So where batch level activity is done. Batch level activity is done. Okay, batch level activity is done. Okay, for on the completion of every batch. On the completion of every batch. For example, you are running a bakery, you manufactured about 1,000 cakes. After manufacturing 1,000 cakes, one or two cakes, you take it and test it as well as taste it. Clear? That is called as what? Batch level activity. Product level activity may be changing the design or going for variants. For example, you look at a bike, they have variant 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, each variant will have its own external design, it will have its own technical specifications like that. Organizational level activities. Organizational level activities are performed. Organizational level activities are performed like new product development, research and development like that. So identify the cost driver. Identify the cost driver. Please remember, to the customer you can charge only this. Whatever is the activity performed for every unit, whatever is the activity performed for every batch, you can charge to the customer. You cannot charge to the customer product level and organizational level activity. Okay. Actually, if you look at these things are developed. Activity based costing itself is developed in Second World War. It is developed in Second World War. It is not developed by any company. It was developed by US Army in the Second World War. What happened is, before activity based costing system, let's assume we are deploying 5 troops. Troops means a group of military people. Okay, the group will consist of, okay, maybe air staffs, ground staffs, okay, like that. And the group also will be given like tankers, bullets, guns, maybe the war equipments. It will be given what? War equipments. Let's assume we have got 20 troops. Troop 1 was there for 20 days in a place. Troop 2 also was there for 20 days in a place. Both the troops are there camping in a place for 20 days. Okay. Troop 1, there was no war at all. For the 20 days, they were just idling. Troop 2, 20 days, continuous war was there. Continuous fighting, war, moving, etc. was there. Can you assign the same cost for troop 1 and troop 2 per day? Some $10,000 like that, can you assign? Traditionally, they were assigning like that. Traditionally, based on time, per day $10,000. Each troop will get $10,000. Okay. So for a troop not fighting also $10,000, fighting also $10,000 per day, because cost is recovered under traditional method where overheads are recovered based on what? Time consumed. They moved to activity based costing where, okay, only when there is a war and depending upon what level of war, how many bullets fired, how many acres or landscape that is conquered, how many killings, or how many, for example, opponent killed. Based on that, they assigned the cost. Based on that, they assigned the cost. So for every bullet fire, every opponent killed, and every area, every kilometer that is occupied, okay, they assigned the cost and they paid incentives also to the soldiers like that. So that is what. Identify the activities that influences which one? Cost. Then find out cost driver rate. Find out which one? Cost driver rate. What is the cost driver rate? Simple. Activity cost divided by number of activities. For example, door delivery cost divided by number of orders. Inspection cost divided by number of batches. Number of jobs divided by changeover time. Like that, you identify the cost driver rate. Cost driver rate means cost per activity. This can be otherwise called as cost per activity. Cost per activity means how much you are spending for every activity. And third one is using the cost driver rate, charge or recover overheads from the customer. Using the cost driver rate, charge or recover overheads from the customer. 3 steps. Identify the cost drivers, find out the cost per activity, using the cost per activity, charge the customer. Sir, what is, when one sentence if I have to say, or 2 sentences if I have to say, for examination point of view, what is the difference between traditional costing and this costing? Traditional costing, single base. What is single base? Total overheads divided by number of hours. Total overheads divided by what? Number of hours, you get cost per hour. Using that, you charge the cost. Here, there is no single base. We allocate the cost based on different activities performed. Otherwise, traditional method, one division, one multiplication over. Activity based costing, depending upon activities, identify the cost, then find out the cost per activity. Okay, there may be 20-30 activities, you have to multiply 20-30 times and find out the cost and find out the cost. Okay, that is activity based costing. See, activity based costing in a classroom we can discuss for about 5-10 minutes, that's all over. But practically, okay, maintaining the data is very important. You should maintain the data about number of orders and specific door delivery cost like that, number of batches, and which one? Inspection cost like that. How many changeovers happened, and number of jobs handled. So you have to maintain a complete data. Okay, traditional costing system you have to just maintain hours, total overheads divided by number of hours over. But under activity based costing system, you have to maintain complete data about everything. Okay, so that is what is activity based costing. That is what is called as which one? Activity based costing. We'll do a problem by comparing traditional costing and activity based costing. You will understand better. For that, I request you to copy this first. Theoretically discussing is okay, but going for a problem will be much better than discussing theoretically. Copy this, please. Let us solve a question so that we'll understand in a better way. Start. Calculate product cost. Please take up this question along with me. If you look at overheads were $50,000. The cost is also 50,000. Cost is also 50,000. See, under traditional costing system, we use single recovery rate. What do you mean by recovery rate? Simple. Rate per mission hour. Rate per mission hour. $50,000 divided by 3,000 mission hours. You get $1.67 per hour. Using this, we are going to work out the product cost. Using this, we are going to work out which one? The product cost. How to work out the product cost? Raw material required for the product. What is the raw material required for the product? $475. Labor cost, $285. Overheads, single recovery rate, 2 machine hours into 1.67. That's it. Sorry, it's not 1.67, 16.67. This is your traditional costing system. We are absorbing all the overheads, the total overheads, using a time-based allocation. We worked out rate per mission hour. Based on that, we absorb the cost to the customer. Under ABC system, we work out cost per activity. Cost per activity, we call it as cost driver rate. Cost driver rate. What is cost driver rate? What is the cost divided by activity? Cost divided by activity will give us cost driver rate. For example, 20,000, this is for 3,000 mission hours. 15,000 is for 5,000 labor hours, labor related costs. Inspection, 15,000 divided by 2,500 inspection. This is a cost driver rate we get. Using this, we are going to assign the cost. Okay. Under ABC system, activity cost based method, okay, raw material cost and the labor cost is going to be the same. There's no difference in this. Raw material cost and which one? Labor costs are going to be the same. Raw material cost and labor costs are going to be the same. Overheads alone will be assigned based on the activities performed. Okay, mission related for this job or for this product, 2 machine hours into 6.67. It will give you 13.34. Then indirect labor. How many labor hours we take? 5 labor hours we take into 3. 5 labor hours into 3, 15. 5 labor hours into 3, 15. Inspection. In the inspection, one inspection into $6. 6. We get the total cost. You can find under traditional method, the cost is underabsorbed. Underabsorbed means we are charging less to the customer, 793.34. But under the activity-based costing method, okay, it is 794.34. The cost is properly absorbed. So how do you say properly absorbed? What is the activity? What is the cost? And for this job, what is the activity performed? Then we assign the cost. Traditional system, everything is based on time. Everything is based on which one? All the costs are based on time. But costs are not influenced by time. Costs are not influenced by what? Time factor. Costs are influenced by which one? Activity performed and cost per activity. Cost per activity, like that. That is why this activity-based costing, these are the activities, this is the cost for the activity. For the customer, depending upon the number of activity that we do, we charge the cost to the customer. So ABC method is definitely superior. ABC method is what? Definitely superior. Okay, sir, is it adopted by concerns? Is it adopted by concerns? Yes, a lot of companies adopt this ABC method. For example, you are coming to my shop and ordering a, let's assume a t-shirt, ordering a t-shirt. Can I quote a standard rate like 200, 250, 300, 400? No. I'll ask what and all you want in the t-shirt. Is it a collar? What kind of collar and neck cutting? What kind of buttons you want? What kind of designs you want? What kind of pocket you want? And what kind of logo should be done? What is a hand cut? What is going to be the, for example, the body cut, various other things. Okay, what is the quality you want? So many things I will ask depending upon the activity performed for you and volume of order given by you. Then I will work out the cost and what? Quote the price. It's not like 5 hours it takes to produce. I charge 5 hours into $30 like that. No. Okay. So depending upon the job order, job work, activities are done and resources are consumed, cost is influenced, I charge my customer. It will result in proper allocation of cost. It will result in which one? Proper allocation of cost. If you charge more, you lose customer. If you charge less, you will incur a loss, direct loss. I spend $50, I charge my customer only $40 means it's a direct loss for you. I spend $50, I charge $55 to the customer, then you are overspending. Please take up this. Now I will give a question to you to work out. The copy pantingla, have you taken up? I will give a question to you to work out, both under activity-based costing method as well as under traditional costing method. Have you taken up this? Do you understand? Traditional costing system, single base of allocating the cost. Overheads are absorbed based on number of hours. Activity-based costing system, these are the activities and the activity cost. Based on that, we assign the cost. For example, if the customer says, no, I'll take care of inspection. You don't do inspection. You just manufacture and deliver. No, you will not charge the cost to the customer. Okay. So activity-based costing system is advantageous in that manner. Take up this question. Take up this question, please, then we'll solve. See, if you look at total overheads are 2,40,000, machine related, labor related, inspection related, and setup related. If you add up, this will come to the 2,40,000. Can you work out under traditional costing system and also using activity based costing system? There's a small camera error. Single base allocation. Machine hours. Actually, I put 10 less here. Overheads are going to be charged based on this 4.8 per hour. So 20,000 into 4.8. The other one 30,000 into 4.8. Single base allocation. That is traditional costing system. This is the total cost divided by output. What is the output? 10,000 and 20,000. This will give us cost per unit. This is under which method? Traditional costing method. Now try to do under activity based costing method. So under traditional costing method, what is the cost per unit? 76.6 and 32.2. activity based costing, mission related cost 50,000 divided by total mission hours, like $10 per hour. Labor related 30,000 divided by 30,000, that is also 15 plus 15, 30,000, $10 per labor hour. That is mission hour. This is based on labor hour. Inspections. Inspections 1,20,000 divided by how many inspections? 3,000 inspections, which means $40 per inspection. That is for inspections. Mission setup, $40,000 divided by 80 times they set the mission, like changeover time and the. This will give us cost per setup, 500 per setup, like that. This we work out. This is called as activity based cost. Activity based cost we work out. Like using this activity based cost, we are going to assign the cost to the product. You are going to assign the cost to the product. Which cost is going to be same? Material and labor cost, let it be traditional method or ABC system, it's going to be same. Only overhead cost will change. Overheads, mission related, 10 per hour, that means 20,000 into 10, 30,000 into 10. It's like $1 per hour, not 10 per hour. 20,000 into 1, 20,000, 30,000 into 1, 30,000. Labor related, that is also $1 per hour, 15,000 into 1, 15,000 into 1. Then inspection related, 40 per inspection, So 2,000 into 40, 1,000 into 40. Next one, mission setup. At the rate of 500 per setup, 50 into 500. The other one will be like 30 into 500. So this will give us total cost of the product. This will give us total cost of the product. So if you look at traditional costing system and activity based costing system, charging direct cost, there is no difference. Over it was a single base allocation. Here multiple base allocation divided by output. Will give us cost per unit. You look at 81 and 30. Under traditional costing system, if we compare, in the traditional costing system, product A, we charged only 76.6, but actually the cost is 81. That is under absorbed cost for product A. When you under absorb the cost, when you don't charge the cost fully to the customer, it's a direct loss to the company. Real cost of the product is 81, but we are charging our customer, cost is 77 or 76, like that. You're losing $3 for every unit. It is a direct loss to the company. Over absorb. Real cost is $30 only. but you're telling the customer the cost is 32.2. Apart from that, you will add profit and quote the price. So if you follow traditional costing method, product B you will charge more. Okay, that will result in, and the customer will go and compare outside. The price might be low outside, where the customer may not come back to you and place the order next time. You will find that, okay, you are charging more, you are charging more. That's why activity-based costing is always superior. Activity-based costing method is what? Always superior, because depending upon what resource consumed, how much resource consumed, we are assigning the cost. Okay, so I request you to go through your material based on activity-based costing system. Okay, there will be 2 or 3 examples like this. Traditional costing versus which one? Activity-based costing. Okay, if I have to tell you in that 2 sentences, 1 division, 1 multiplication, single base allocation. Here it is, many divisions, because based on activities performed, we work out the cost per activity, then multiply it to find out which one, cost of the product. So assigning the cost by activity cost method is always superior and better. But this activity based costing system is over. This is what? Activity based costing. This we had seen, allocation of service center cost to production department. One service center we allocate. Expense of V allocated to ABC. Expense of X, expense of Y. We formed equation and all we have done, That is what we had seen. That is what we had seen already in the last class. Next session, we'll move on to variable costing and which costing? Absorption costing. Variable costing and which one? Absorption costing. We'll move on. Copy this. Copy this.